and welcome to another episode of Stagey Live. I've just had a shower, so I'm good and ready to go. My name's David Muscat. I'm going to be joined by these guests.
It's the super talented mega West End leading lady Caroline Sheen, and our old Danny Lane speaks to the boys from above the Stag. And then we speak to Kevin Wathen, lovely British actor. And don't forget the Stagey Challenge hosted by Simon Ray Harvey and Molly Roberts. Time for the first interview!
Special guest coming up. She's a wonderful talent. She is amazing. A lot of experience. She's done pretty much everything under the sun. Would you please welcome to the stage Caroline Sheen.
Put your hands together for Caroline Sheen!
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on the show. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for asking me.
You're welcome. So I just, for some of our guests out there that, you know, perhaps have been hiding under a rock or anything like that, would you give us a bit of a background about, you know, who you are and what you've done?
Well, I'm originally from Wales, and I have been really lucky. I've managed to do loads of parts that were my dream roles growing up, like, you know, Eponine in Les Mis, and going back to do Fantine a few years later, and my first job was Grease, straight out of college. It's a very long time ago.
And you mentioned you've done a couple of different roles in Les Mis.
Yeah.
Is there anything, you know, in the forefront to maybe take on a Javert or anything like that?
I think I'd be marvellous, Javert. I don't know, I think maybe in a few years' time I could maybe have a crack at Madame Thénardier or something like that.
Why not?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Crack it out. And what about your studies? Whereabouts did you study?
I studied at Guildford School of Acting way back, and it was one of those things where my parents are both teachers and they really wanted me to have a degree, so I had something to fall back on if necessary, and luckily drama colleges just about started to do degrees when I was studying, so, and it's a great place to study for musical theatre. It trains you in all three aspects of the industry, you know, dance, acting, singing, so I definitely needed it for my dance.
Thanks. What would be your signature dance move if you're cutting a rug?
Oh, that. It's always arms, don't look at my feet. Always look at my arms.
It's a bit fussy, is it?
I quite like that. Sometimes I go, I've got to make a move.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's my comedy genius.
It's to the point. Now you've worked both here within the UK, but you've also worked abroad. So tell the viewers what you've worked on.
Yeah, I played Mary Poppins here on the first tour of the UK back in 2008. And a few months after finishing that, I got asked to go and play Mary Poppins again on the tour of the United States.
Brilliant.
So that was very exciting. Terrifying as well. It was a year. I only did 6 months here, so to kind of commit to a whole year away from home was a big deal. But it was amazing to go out there and sort of do a show that I knew and wasn't too worried about. I wasn't worried about playing the part because I'd done it, and so I could go out there and kind of do the job and have an amazing time seeing the country as well. I travelled to like 16 different states, and right from the East Coast over to LA as well, and just everywhere in between.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
How did you find the transition from going? Was that the first time you'd been to the States?
I'd been out there before, actually. I had done a little job out there. I did a job in New York for the the New York Musical Theatre Festival with a musical by Grant Olding. So I'd worked a little bit in New York, but just as kind of a little fringe thing. So it was great to be out there in a big production. Really interesting because they can leave, the Americans can leave, they can give 4 weeks notice or maybe even less, I can't remember. So every now and then I'd be on stage and there'd be somebody different there, and they rehearse in secret.
Yeah.
You don't see them rehearsing. So it was weird, that was odd, seeing people in the same costume but different faces. So that was something to adjust to, but it was nice to meet all the new people, and now I've got a big bunch of friends in America, which is lovely.
I'm sure you could probably call on them anytime you want to go for a holiday.
I hope so.
Because I know that you do a lot of concerts as well.
Yeah, I really enjoy concert work. I've done a few things at the Royal Albert Hall, and last year I did a Friday night is music night, which was a big bucket list thing for me, because I used to listen to that. Well, I still listen to it all the time, so to be in that was really exciting. And I just like dressing up in pretty frocks.
Don't we all?
And popping on a sequin and getting on stage looking glam. So That's a bit of fun too.
Yeah, I've got a sequin on right now.
I can see it.
What was your first gig? What was your first gig into theatre?
My first job was Grease,
Was it?
when it was at the Cambridge Theatre, so that was like '97.
Mm.
And I played Marty. I was straight out of college, and I played Marty, one of the Pink Ladies, and I understudied Rizzo and Sandy. So that was a massive baptism of fire to kind of turn up. Literally, I finished college on the Friday, and I was there on the Monday. I left college a bit early to do it. And I was sitting there and we were learning all the harmonies and the music, and then the musical director said, and this bit here, this is going to be on click, but you better learn it anyway. And I was thinking, I don't know what click is. And I thought, I have to ask. And
Was it some dance moves or something?
it's the click track. It's like when it's vocals that have been recorded, and I had no idea. And everybody so when I asked the question, everyone went, oh. And I felt a bit stupid, but that was great to kind of to play Marty was a lovely role, and then to do the whole understudying thing was a great discipline to learn as well, and still loads of great frocks to dress up in.
Yeah, exactly. and what was it like when you got the call? Like, obviously you would have gone through an audition process.
Yeah. I had no idea. It was literally, I'd had 2 auditions for it, and I was still in college. I was doing a show in college, and I'd been offered another part on a tour of the UK, and so when I got the part, it was amazing, but it was actually really tricky then, because I had to try and get out of that other job that I'd said yes to, and so that was really hard, and I had to sort of my new agent, who I'd only met like twice, had to kind of organise that whole kind of thing. So it was actually more of a problem than a celebration. And then I think once I decided that I wanted to do that job, then I could go, oh my God, I've got this brilliant job, and that was when I could celebrate. But when I first got the call, I was like, how did this happen? How did they want me? It was really exciting.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I always am interested in regards to people getting their first shot, because it must be so life-changing, you know, if it's something that you really want to go into.
It really was, and I remember that was in the March, sort of February, March time, and I remember the Christmas. It was the Christmas of my 3rd year at college, and I remember just crying at Christmas Eve or Christmas night even, just because I was just so scared of what was going to happen after college. I didn't know, you know, you're at college, you've got everything there, you're doing shows, you have to be casting them because there's nobody else there, you know, it's just your year, and so it's all kind of given to you at college, and then to have that pulled away was really a terrifying prospect. So I was really, really worried about getting an agent and whether I was any good and if anything was going to happen, and so to sort of go from that despair to then kind of 12 weeks later making my West End debut was a really exciting time.
And what's been one of the, has there ever been a moment on stage where you've just lost it? It's something, I know I'm quite easy at corpsing, but has there ever been a time that, you know, something's happened that's been funny?
I did win an award once, because when I was playing Eponine in Les Mis, towards the end of the contract, sometimes you do little silly award ceremonies and stuff, and I won an award for like dedication beyond the call of duty, because as Eponine I was there dying in my Marius's arms, and my Marius had been ill and he'd had a cold, and this was his first show back, and I turned around and looked up at him, and you know, I'm just about to kiss him and then die, and I looked and I was like, I'm not kissing you, there's a huge blob of snot coming out of your nose. And I died really fast, just as it hit me right on my lips and sort of trickled down this huge bit of mucus.
Just a little drop of rain.
Just a little drop of snot on my face. And you could hear people in the real early, like the front of the stores could see it as well. You could hear them going, oh! And all the cast are on there meant to be looking at Eponine tragically dying, and they're just going,
Caring is sharing.
Yeah,
you know.
so that was quite a moment.
Yeah. And speaking about love, I know that you're married to Michael Gibson.
Yes.
And you've got a lovely daughter together.
Yes.
And how does that work? How do you, because I'm always impressed by people that can manage the hectic life of sort of performing, but also
it's a bit
family.
crazy, you know, to have both of us being in this business. There's, you know, no security we can offer her whatsoever, and she has to get used to Daddy being away for. Last year he was away for 2 months in South Africa filming something, and I had to go to Wales recently to do a show called Only the Brave. So she does get used to it, but there's no routine for her whatsoever. But we've managed to work it out so far. If I'm working, he's sometimes not working, or if he is, we have brilliant sets of grandparents that can help out, or like babysitters and stuff. So far we're managing it. It's kind of like a real balancing act, but it's a challenge.
You
but
make
it's
it
a
work.
brilliant challenge, yeah.
And you've got a couple of different concerts coming, or you've got a concert coming up, is that right?
I've got a few things coming up.
Yeah.
I did a programme in Wales last year called Cariad at Iaith, which is where they teach people to speak Welsh in a week. And I was quite successful at it, and I'd never learned it before in my life. So now everyone in Wales thinks I'm a really good Welsh speaker, which I'm not at all. Doing a recording of a great new musical by Stuart Matthew Price, which is a two-hander that Hadley Fraser and I workshopped about 2 years ago now, and it's a really lovely piece, and we're going to put it down on CD for all to hear. CD,
Well,
that makes
there
me
you go.
sound old.
Well, it could be worse, it could be on cassette tape.
I didn't say that, on LP.
Exactly. And was that because I know that you mentioned that a CD.
I've got a CD out already.
You've got CDs coming from everywhere.
Every artist, their CDs. I did a CD way back in 2010 called Raise the Curtain.
Yeah.
I'd done Light in the Piazza at Leicester Curve, and I loved playing that part and singing the role of Clara every night. And I kind of wanted something tangible to take away from it, so I thought, why don't I do a CD?
Yeah, sure.
And so I recorded about 11 songs from all different new musical theatre writers. There are 5 songs on there that had never previously been recorded. So there's British songwriters and American writers on there, as well as a Jason Robert Brown song. There's a song by Grant Olding. There's some Styles and Drew on there with a little bit of Mary Poppins tapped on the end. And I'm really proud of it. I wanted it to be a showcase for where musicals are going, and I think it succeeded. It's available on iTunes and all your usual kind of thing. So.
Pick it up. Now, a couple of last things before we let you go. Now, there's a very quick segment that we do. It's called Quick Fire Questions. Now, this is very serious, and what's going to happen is...
Should I put my glasses on?
Yeah.
Look serious.
If you want to put these ones on.
Oh my
just to
God,
look a bit
you've got
serious.
some already. Right, okay.
Yeah, right. So, I'm going to fire some questions at you.
It's like being at the opticians.
It is. Now, this
A,
is...
F, D...
You've got brilliant eyesight, because there's not even any words there. So I'm going to fire some questions off, and you've got to, just the first thing that pops into your mind.
Right.
And if you win, there won't be a prize. But favourite show that you've watched?
The Light in the Piazza. Does that matter that it was a different production from your one?
No, that's fine. Yeah. DVD or cinema?
DVD. I'm a mum. I never get to go to cinema.
And what's a passion outside of theatre?
History. I love a bit of castle viewing and Tudor stuff.
Worst holiday?
Oh, a trip to the Dordogne with GSA in 1996. It was horrendous.
Favourite item of clothing?
My wedding dress.
And worst item of clothing that you've had to wear? Could be a costume.
Oh my God. The Under Attack costumes from Mamma Mia. They were and they still are, pretty horrific.
And what are you scared most of?
The mice from Bagpuss. Do you remember those horrible
I have seen that.
like things in the organ? They make me go funny.
And lastly, what's the funniest face you can pull?
Just this one, I think. What I've got. Ooh.
Brilliant. Fantastic. I'll take the special intelligent glasses.
That made me feel really clever.
I know, they are quite cool. They're quite serious. Next, for anyone out there that's an aspiring actor or actress or anything like that, what would be a piece of information or a piece of advice that you'd pass on to them?
I get asked this quite a lot when I do sort of masterclasses and question and answer sessions and stuff, and I always think my best piece of advice is get involved and go and see stuff. Go and see. You don't have to come to the West End and see things because I know that costs a packet. Go and see your local theatre, go and join your local theatre. Even if the things you're in or the things you're watching are awful, you will still learn from these experiences, and you'll still learn what works and what doesn't, and you'll just have the best time. Indulge your passion, I say.
Brilliant. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Everyone, put your hands together at home for Caroline Sheen. Back with Danny Lane. Now, Danny Lane's going to do a bit of a roving piece with us.
You bet.
Yeah. Now, did you have fun?
It was the best and only interview I've ever done.
Let's have a look at the video.
I'm the production manager for Above the Stag Theatre, based in Vauxhall. So Above the Stag is an LGBT theatre. We're the only one is a full-time producing house in the UK. We produce around 9 or 10 shows a year, and they will always have an LGBT theme or character or the plot. Stag is unique because it is the only full-time producing LGBT house in the country. We like to nurture new writing. So we have a submissions kind of page that we're constantly getting new LGBT work through. Everything from comedies, history pieces. We did Haram Iran, which was a political piece about 2 young Iranian boys that were hung for being gay. There's The Sins of Jack Saul, which was based on a Victorian rent boy in London, which is a true story, and how he was taken to court and tried to prosecute half of the establishment. Everything to Panto, where we have normally an LGB anti, as it were, just kind of have the full community. Above the Stag originally was based in Victoria. It was in above a pub called the Stag Pub, which was down a seedy little alley behind where Billy Elliot was at the Palace for years. And then it was bulldozed. There's a big hole in the ground where it was, and so we quickly had to find a new venue. We took about a year in the end. We saw some amazing spaces that were completely out of our price range, and we saw some tiny little venues that couldn't fit anything in, and as a producing house we needed a lot of space to build sets and rehearse, and so eventually we found this space in Vauxhall, which was a big railway arch, and we could afford it, and then we thought, well, let's try this and see what happens.
And so, as much as I'm sure that you rule the roost, you must have a wonderful team surrounding you.
We have a brilliant team, our family as we like to call them. We have Peter Ball, who's our artistic director, who's fantastic, just kind of, a wonderful human being that really kind of nurtures new talent and helps everyone come together. We have Tom McGregor, who runs all of the kind of front of house kind of element, the website. We have John Bradfield, who does all of our marketing, our publicity. Catherine Ives, who does our press, with Jack Bowman, who's an amazing person. And I'm going to get killed for missing someone, but and then we have a little team of associates. I'm an associate director, a lovely Rob McWeir was an associate director, with Jean David Kirk. So we have a really lovely little team there that kind of works throughout the year on it, and everyone's got a day job, of course, to do it until you finish up.
And lastly, give us a little plug. How can we see you? How can we get tickets? How do we find you?
Get online, www.abovethestag.com, and it's a wonderful website that's been designed by Tom. And it's really user-friendly. There's production shots on there. You can see what we do, and we're in Vauxhall. It's kind of the easiest place to get to.
And you're about 2 minutes away.
We're about 2 minutes walk. You go all the way down the bus Concord, and then cross over the road, and there's a load of railway arches, and we are there.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob is your uncle.
Thank you so much for coming to chat to us
Thank
today.
you.
It was wonderful to see you. Stay stagey, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Put your hands together at home for Kevin Wathen.
Give it up for Kevin Wathen, who earlier this year was in Get Carter, playing the title role and has done musicals such as Billy Elliot.
How are you? You all good?
Yeah, very well, mate, very well.
Very
Recovering from a national tour.
Yeah, exactly. And now, I mean, how do you like our set at the moment?
Yeah, lovely.
I mean, you know, you're sitting on, I don't know if you know this, but that drape there that you're sitting on was actually used in King Lear in 1973. Maybe true, maybe not. But you know, it's a fairly stagey set. I spent all morning putting on these little bedazzled backgrounds.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Glitz, the glamour, the glamour.
I mean, take us back to, you know, for everyone that hasn't had the pleasure of seeing you on stage or seeing you before.
Displeasure.
Well, take us back to the beginning. At what stage did you turn around and say, you know what, I want to be an actor?
Well, originally I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a fighter pilot, and I did maths, physics, and biology at A levels. Like I didn't really do any English or literature-based subjects. And then, I always did amateur stuff and started in I actually started in musicals. Mm-hmm. Like my first ever show, I think, at school was Joseph, played one of the brothers, sang Cain and Days, cheap. And then did a few more things at school like that, and did a few more amateur things. Like we were lucky, the little village I was from, Alnwick in Northumberland, massive. We had a little playhouse, which was, maybe like 300, 400 seater, and a big like amateur dramatic scene. So we got into it that way. And then one day I just decided, I was like, right now, and I had a teacher. Generally, it always comes from like an inspirational kind of figure in your life. And like, he was my form teacher, George Adamson, his name was. Well, is, he's not dead. And yeah, he led the choir and then started doing all this stuff. We got involved. I was a big rugby player at school. Yeah. So like he kind of got all the rugby lads into the choir, like the bass and tenor section became massive. And then just from there, then auditioned for drama school, going to drama centre, went there, came out. Didn't work for like 3.5 years, but it was good. It was nice to just adjust. It's quite it's a bit of a bubble, the old,
it's something, in talking to a couple of people that go through that process, it seems to be quite, it takes a lot out of you to go through that. Yeah,
I mean, drama centre especially, it's horses for courses, they're all, they all offer this, it's more about a personal exploration, I think, than anything you can get from an institution. I mean, you need to go there and ask yourself the right questions, I guess. But it takes some time, I think, to adjust from that afterwards. And especially somewhere like Drama Centre, where it was quite intense and very, method-based. And without sounding too
wanky.
Yeah, I don't know if I could say that. Without sounding too wanky. Yeah. But it was good. It was just, I came out and just kind of lived life.
I mean, what do you do in between jobs? I know that you're a musician as well. So is that your main source of income? Is that what you mainly focus on when you're not working?
Well, no, I mean, I actually quite like going out and just working as a normal person. Like, I'm a normal, as a civvy. Yeah. But like, it's, again, like the drama school thing, I find that the industry sometimes can be a bit all-consuming, and when you're involved in it, when you go bounce from job to job to job, you kind of, well, for me anyway, I'm talking on a personal level, that you lose that kind of objectivity and kind of passion for it, like, and coming out and working and just, so I do that, but obviously, like you said, I have a band, and we do that, which is great. It just keeps the creative side alive, no matter what it is. I think it's important that you keep exercising that kind of creative side of your personality.
And what was the first ever job that you got? First ever job in theatre that you got after?
So like I said, after my three-year hiatus, I started working for a bar company, and like I worked my way up in the 3 years. I was like the group head bartender for all of these venues, like, and I'd taken a job in Leeds. We'd just opened this brand new venue in Leeds, And it was like, this audition came through. And I'd quit. I'd you know, it'd been 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Audition, didn't get anything. I was like, right, yeah, I've had enough of this. So I took this job in Leeds, and I'd moved all my stuff up to Leeds. And then got this audition through, and it's for this job at the Young Vic, Skellig, Trevor Nunn. I was like, dreaming. I was like, yeah, I'll go for it. Sure, my last little hurrah. Not thinking, I was like, I haven't got a chance in hell here.
Yeah.
And so did the audition, and then got on the train that afternoon, went up to Leeds, and they phoned me that afternoon, said, you've got the job.
Wow.
Well, so I'd just moved from London to Leeds. I had to go to Leeds, tell my new boss that I'd just taken the job, that I got this job, quit my job in Leeds, moved all my stuff back to London, and then that was it. Like, but yeah, that's the thing with the industry, innit? You could be here one moment, and you'd be in Brazil tomorrow.
Yeah, you never know your luck.
Come on, Brazil.
Now, with you, I mean, one of the things I really love about you is that whenever I've seen you perform, or when I've seen you in a scene or anything like that, you are in that moment. You just engross that space, and you become whatever the character is. How do you do that? How do you? Is it just a case that you really have to try and get inside the mind of that character, or is it a case that it is just pretending all the way through?
Well, I mean, there's always a bit of both. Like, you know, you do your work in the rehearsal room, like with regards to the character. You go back, you know, you do all your research and you try and get into the mindset there. But when you're on stage, I think you kind of got to trust that work that you've already done. Like, and every job you do is different. I think every job you do kind of tests your relationship to the way you work in different areas. Like, because with Carter, like, because it was so big, and you had to control that environment for the majority of the show, I mean, if not all the show, that things start, creeping in, like, and it's really hard to kind of keep that out. So you've got to just trust that core of work, and just explore the limits of the scene within that framework. Like, I don't ever like to set something. Yeah, the scene's set, the objectives are set. But then you play within the framework of that objectives. Like, you know, if we were doing a scene together, you might come on one day and give me something completely different. And then for me to just recreate what I did yesterday when I hadn't had that impulse from you, then, you know, a player's called a player for a reason. You know, you play, and it's great to see actors who are alive on stage.
Now, with yourself, I know we mentioned before that you do musician as well. Has there ever been a time where you've had to incorporate both being a musician and acting?
Well, quite a lot. I mean, I did Quadrophenia on stage about 6-7 years ago. And I played like an aging old pop star, obviously working with that music, you know, working with the Who, and it was brilliant. So did a bit of it. That's kind of what started the whole like taking music seriously. I'd always just plinked around with it. But when you were in the company of amazing people like that, I mean, Pete was always there. John O'Hara, he was the musical supervisor who plays keys for Jethro Tull, so like proper musicians, and it was amazing. And also I had a great opportunity. I worked with John Tiffany and Martin Lowe. Like, I did the workshop for once, and kind of before it opened in America, so we did the initial presentation to the producers of the show, and that was amazing. Like, it was just me and another actress, a Czech actress that they found, and Martin and John, and just us four in a room, like, thrashing through the script, and obviously the music, and it's such a beautiful show, and amazing music. I love old Glenn Hansard. So that was the fullest kind of experience I've had. I mean, it was short-lived, only a week, but it was lovely.
Now, I know that you're a big fan of chilies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I thought we'd do this little next segment here, which is called rapid fire questions. Now I've got this little bad boy. Some of the people may have seen this one before.
Are they hard?
They're chilies, so they're not. They're not.
I like a bit of spice.
So I'm gonna start off.
Let's get in here.
Yeah, let's get stuck
Get
in.
a big one.
Yeah. Well, that's what she said. So first question.
Oh, we're keeping it highbrow here at Stagey Live.
Oh yeah. So first question. Favourite song?
At the moment, both sides now, Joni Mitchell.
Ale or lager?
Oh, ale.
Favourite holiday?
I went to Tenerife once, that was good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Funniest face you can pull? Is that the chili or is that your...
Go.
Right. Worst item of clothes you've ever had to wear on stage?
Oh. Well, it was definitely in Billy, having full underdress, then the miners thing, then the coat.
Oh, that was a cracker. And what are you afraid of?
Well, spiders, I think. Spiders, definitely.
And do you prefer eating out or takeaway?
Eating out. Like, just like this fine dining experience that we're having right now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And lastly, what's your most favourite book?
The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde.
Boom. Get it in. Wow. Good work. I'm going to wipe my hands on it.
Got the old
sweat on.
got the old bead on, yeah.
Now, lastly, well done, mate. Just before I get you to head off, any sort of advice that you get for anyone out there who's wanting to get into acting or anyone who's an actor at the moment, what piece of advice would you pass on?
Persistence is the key, I think. Just keep going. Keep trying to be the person you want to be, the actor you want to be. Keep work. I just think it's about keep working. Just persist.
Brilliant. Well, a massive thanks for coming on,
Thank you.
mate.
It's great to see you, mate.
Yeah, pleasure to have you on board.
Thanks, lads.
Ladies and gentlemen, please clap at home for Kevin Wathen. So everyone's going.
Stagey challenge.
Oh no, danger.
Students battle.
Pow, ouch. Boom, boom, wee. Pop, lip shit,
Let the challenge begin. Peter Piper challenge.
Here we are at the Peter Piper Challenge. So the aim of the game is 2 contestants have to say Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper as many times as possible. But there's one problem. They're going to have their mouths full of marshmallows. And every time they repeat the tongue twister, they have to put another marshmallow in their mouth. The winner is a person who can succeed in saying the tongue twister with as many marshmallows as possible without spitting them out. Easy.
Who is playing?
On our left, we have our first contestant. What's your name? And which college do you represent?
I'm Matt, I'm representing the London College of Music.
Fantastic, Matt. And how are you feeling about this challenge today?
I'm very excited to be back. I think last time I didn't quite manage to get a marshmallow, but I don't think that's going to be a problem today.
Indeed. Over to you.
Our next contestant is...
Jack, and I'm representing Bird College.
Are you looking forward to this challenge?
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to this challenge.
Students ready. Fight.
And go.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Next one. Another one. Oh.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled
Yeah,
peppers.
keep going.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Great.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Good. Another one. Go.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
I think that's it. I think that's it. We've got a winner. We have a winner.
Definitely got a clear winner here.
How do you feel?
Really nice.
Well, it's time to crown the champion.
So that's the end of the Peter Piper Marshmallow Challenge, and we can only have one winner, and that winner is
Matt.
Matt wins. Matt wins. How do you feel, Matt?
I feel fantastic. I'm just glad all that training's paid off.
You finally got your marshmallow.
Yeah. I think I got more than I bargained for, but
But enjoy.
thank you. Bear it with pride.
And also we have a loser. That is Jack.
Yeah, I must say, he's a worthy winner. He performed pretty well. And that's all I've got to say about it, really.
Are you looking forward to having your juicy lemon?
So much. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Well, that's the end of another challenge on Stagey Live. Join us again next week for another challenge. Bye. I thought you were going to feed him the lemon.
Well, that's another episode of Stagey Live in the Bank. Thanks for tuning in, and a big thank you for all our guests that were involved. For you at home, please continue to support us and follow at Stagey Live on Twitter. For now, what I wanted to leave you with is this most important bit of advice.